Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I want to go over my stock photography earnings for the month of September 2023. So without further ado, let's get into it. So September was a decent month for me. I actually topped the 400 mark, and that's in large part due to Adobe paying out to their contributors money that they've earned from Adobe using their content to train their generative AI tools that they're creating. So I haven't been doing much in the way of stock photography in September. I've been preoccupied with other things, but one of the beauties of stock photography is that if you have a decent sized portfolio, whether or not you're taking care of it or not, you will be earning some money on the side and, well, passive income, right? So yeah, build up a portfolio and you can just neglect it for some time and it will still continue to earn you money. That said, let's get into what I've made for this month, and the agency that I want to start off with first is, as usual, Shutterstock. So here you can see my numbers on Shutterstock in terms of portfolio size, and that number has been stagnant for a little while now. But anyways, for September I had 93 downloads, and I want to talk about 4 or 5 of those images that sold. So my number one image sold for $15, and it's this image of me pouring out pills into my hand. And this is a fairly popular image on Shutterstock, and I think it sold like 125 times before, and overall it's made me like $71 or so. But I have a number of images in this series, and they've made me a significant amount over the years. So next is something that doesn't happen often for me on Shutterstock, and it's the fact that a video sold, and it's just a simple video of me doing the most mundane thing ever, spreading peanut butter onto a piece of bread. So there's a deer back there. Gonna try and see if I can get an image of it. Anyways, yeah, so I don't sell a lot of videos on Shutterstock, but in this case I did sell this one for $1.09. Yeah, it's the most mundane thing ever. I'm sure there's like a plethora of videos of people putting peanut butter onto bread. Who knows why this one sold, right? And on that same day I sold an image of a bunch of different US tax forms that I had photographed for the tax season, and that one sold for 60 cents. The next image I want to show is an illustration that I did way back when, at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and this was when the stimulus checks were going out in the US. And I created an illustration of a check coming out of an envelope, and that one sold for $4.35, and you can see it here. It's a fairly simple image, but it gets the point across. This next image is an editorial image, and this one sells frequently on Shutterstock, and it's just me holding my phone and showing all the different types of social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, all of it. Yeah, and that one sold for $2.75. This last image is one of my usual, eye-related images that I do, and this one sold for $2.94, and it's just an image of my wife's eye, and overlaid is like an heads-up display type image, useful for anything, conveying like laser eye surgery or stuff like that, futuristic stuff, I guess. So that's pretty much the highlights for Shutterstock. So like I said before, I sold a total of 93 images and I made $48.09. So that is more than double what I made last time. So I am pleased with that outcome, right? All right, so moving on, we're gonna jump over to Adobe Stock. All right, so on Adobe Stock, I sold 114 images, and I do believe there was a video in there as well, yes. But there's a few that I want to talk about, so let's get into it. So this first image is just an image of my wife with her glasses off, and she's looking off into the distance, in a contemplative state. You know, useful for things like anxiety, depression, or, you know, deep in thought, anything like that. But anyways, this one sold for 36 cents, and it's relevant here because it's a new image that sold. All right, so this next image is a self-portrait, and it's just me looking straight into the camera. That one sold for $2.64. And, you know, this one just goes to show, don't be afraid to put yourself in front of the camera, take images of yourself if you're comfortable doing so and having your photos out there on the stock agencies. That image actually sold multiple times in September. I'm curious to know what those images are being used for. I'm gonna have to do a reverse Google search on that to see if I can find anything. All right, and this next image is an AI image. And I don't know what I was thinking when I made the photo, but it's like the most random picture ever. It's just an image of a bunch of mountain goats on, well, a mountain, a rocky mountain. Yeah, and that one sold for 99 cents. I'll put up the keywords for that image now. So yeah, very, very interesting. I made that at the very start of, you know, when we started to generate AI content. And yet another video sold for me, this time here on Adobe Stock, and that made me $5.25 for that single sale. And it's just a video of me counting out a bunch of $100 bills. All right, and here are a couple top earners for me for September. And the first one is this AI image that I've shown numerous times before on these earnings videos. And it's just the brain image, you know, being lit up all over, showing neurons firing and stuff like that. And overall for September, that made me $5.25. And this next one is also an AI image. And that's of a family out having dinner, you know, laughing, having fun, just overall having a good time. And that one continues to sell for me on Adobe Stock. Overall, that one made me $4.22. Last but not least, we have this medical image that is a consistent seller across the platforms for me. And it's just, you know, prescription pill bottles with the labels and all of the, you know, protected information removed. And overall, that one made me $5.24. So Adobe performed well for me in September. And that's thanks in large part due to what I said before, them paying out for using our images to train their AI. And overall, I got paid $117 for the images that they used to train the AI. And in total, combined with the sales that I made $210.74. So a fairly decent month for me in September on Adobe Stock. So for once, Envato Elements was not my biggest earner for the month. Adobe Stock was. And speaking of, let's talk about Envato Elements. So as many of you know, Envato Elements is my largest portfolio across the agencies, and I have 2 portfolios on Envato, and combined I have over 3,000 assets, all images. All right, so the first image that made me $9.81 is just a simple photo of the month of July on a calendar. And like I've said repeatedly in these videos before, these are simple images that consistently sell for me. And I've taken an image of all of the months on the calendar, you know, just 12 images, and I've also varied the angles and you know, just so I can get more images of the same content. And next we have this image, which is a consistent seller as well, and this one earned me $9.69, and it's just the solar panel image. I really like this image, and it sells consistently for me. Next we have this stethoscope image, and that one earned me $9.49. Also a consistent performer. Speaking of consistency, we have me at the computer with a bunch of code on the screen, and that one earned $5.04. Last but not least, we have this holding hands image, and that one earned $4.24. So in total for Envato Elements, I made $163.53. Generally, I'm in the 180s or the 200s. So yeah, it's a fairly poor month on Envato Elements. But overall, the month was good in general, and that's, like I said, thanks large in part due to Adobe Stock. Alright, so that brings us to a close, and for September 2023, I made $422.36 across 3 agencies. So not a bad month, in fact a good month for me overall. I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, if you got anything from the video, please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and give this video a like. Also, leave a comment below to let me know how you did in September and how is it going for you overall in stock photography. So until next time, guys, have a good one.